Hey everybody, today we're going to be talking about some of the trees in the new garden back here behind the pergola. Last week I was talking about how we laid this all out and took it from what it was to what it is now. And there's a lot of really good trees in here, a few of my personal favorites, and a bunch of them that I'd love to see used more often. So with the display beds here, we got to kind of showcase more interesting things that are a little less common, and yeah, it's kind of whatever I enjoy and whatever I have extras of, whatever you can make fit with the design. So I have a really good maple in here at the corner. Originally, when I first planted all this here, I had a American Ironwood in this corner. And this maple was sitting around, and the ironwood is very shade tolerant, so I went ahead and moved that to the back at the edge of the shade garden, and I put this maple in here. This is Acer triflorum, three-flower maple is the common name. I think it's from northern China, somewhere in China. But it's very closely related to Acer griseum, the paperbark maple. The bark is exfoliating, but it's a different color than the paperbark. That one has more of a coppery colored bark. This is much more silver and gray. The underside here, when it peels off, has more of a brown color, but the overall appearance at a glance is much more gray, much more silver. Very, very refined. Foliage is nice medium green, has a beautiful little flower in the spring, and the fall color is amazing. It's beyond belief. This is probably, I mean, it's a lot of the maples color up really well. This is just definitely a favorite of mine for fall. Somewhat of a smaller sized tree too, so this will fit in a smaller yard. And as you can see here, it's planted about 3 feet off of the back wall of the pergola. That really is pretty close, but my intention is just to take off some of the branches in the back as it grows out. So it'll end up being kind of over and above on this side, which will be fine down the road. So we'll just limit up as we need to, and this should be doing fine here for quite a long time. So yeah, pretty much the year-round. The interest on this is almost year-round. So you have your bark color, bark texture, spring flowers, nice leaves, and great fall color. So these are a little hard to find. They're hard to propagate, so they're not as popular in the trade, but very, very good tree. So next up in here is a purple leaf crepe myrtle. I'm going to go ahead and walk in here. So this one's called Rumblin Red. There's been a number of purple leaf crepes introduced in the last 10 to 15 years. This is the more recent introduction. Got this in here last summer, put it in, and it's been doing pretty good. I am still a little unsure of how hardy some of these purple leaf ones are, but this had I think on the tag it says zone 5, so we'll see if that holds out. I would still say we're zone 6 in here, so I would think this should do okay. This is getting full sun. It's pretty important for a crepe myrtle that you've got them in bright light. They love the heat, so may as well take advantage of that when you can, and put something that likes the heat in a really hot spot. So these are great. Like I said, they're heat tolerant, so you can put them near pavement. So if you have a patio with like brick or paver bricks that gets pretty warm, this won't mind. They don't mind having stone around the base either. So yeah, they're very heat tolerant. Blooms midsummer. Budding up right now, so by oh, you know what, another week or so this will be in bloom. This is the of the series, there's a red, a lavender, and a white in this series, and this is the middle bloomer of the three. So should be about 10 feet tall in the north here. So not super wide. Great color, really neat, really interesting color on that. Next in line is a Japanese Japanese black pine, Pinus thunbergia, Koto buki. Nice little narrow tree. Growth rate on here is probably about, let's see, that tip put on about 8 inches this year. But it'll be more of an upright, kind of a narrow sort of tree, and shouldn't get more than about 3 to 4 feet wide. Nice little pine for, again, for a smaller spot. I've got this right against the back wall, and again, these like the heat, same as the Crepe Myrtle, so they also do fine in containers. So as long as you have a large enough pot, they can grow in a pot for quite a while. Pretty clean. They don't produce many cones, just your average annual needle drop, and goes pretty well with the perennials next to it. I've got a taller type of rudbeckia right there, and Joe Pye weed right here. So it's a bit more of a clean kind of look, but it really you can make that work into more of a cottagey design without a whole lot of trouble. And another great one here is Persian Ironwood. Now this is actually a variegated form of Parrotia. The average one, of course, is green. This one has a nice white marbling in the leaf. Growth rate is probably about half of the species. So this tree is pushing 10 years old, and it's only about 6 feet tall. It did have one of the winters when it was still in a pot, it had some dieback on it, but it's been in the ground now 2 years, growing out really well. This one will probably get a little bit large for its space, but we'll just keep kind of limbing it up and keeping it clipped. These trim really well, so yeah, you can put them in a smaller space and just hand prune them as needed, and they'll stay pretty tight. So I haven't seen it bloom yet. They are in the same family as witch hazel, and they bloom in late winter. So February, early March, they'll be in bloom. Just very small red, dark red flowers right along the stem. It's just a little puff ball. It's something you have to look for. You won't see it from a distance, but when we get some warm days in late winter, they'll start flowering for about 2-3 weeks, and then they're done. But wonderful little tree. This one's it's called Persian Lace, and yeah, should fit in pretty well here over the years. I plant a lot of stuff in here. I counted about 23 to 25 plants that would qualify as trees. A couple of those probably have to come out, but I try to space the trees that they can stay, but we'll see over the years. And now this one is a Japanese maple. This is called Emerald Lace. Pretty finely dissected green Japanese maple. Got a little bit of leaf loss right here. I'm not sure what's up with that, but could be because of the drought. We're quite dry right now. So this is a fairly vigorous grower once they get established, which means I will have to reduce the size of this circle in the yard here once this one starts to come out too far. So yeah, once this starts to flow out over the edge, I'll just have to run a new line and cut this grass out and give it some more space. Shouldn't get a whole lot higher. I'm thinking it'll probably be right around 5 to 6 feet tall in time, but it's going to be spreading out pretty good and wide. So yeah, we'll see how that does. And fall color is pretty nice. A lot of orange, a lot of red. The green ones are a little more subtle throughout the spring and summer, but then fall, they really brighten up. So yeah, don't be afraid of planting a green Japanese maple. The fall color really is better than the red leaf ones. So yeah, they're neat. Right behind me here, this is one of the newer red buds. This one is called Carolina Sweetheart. I think it's from the University of North Carolina. They've been developing red buds for a while. This was introduced at least 10 years ago, I think, when it was first released, and there's been a bunch since. But this one has a really nice variegation with purple and green and white. So in the spring, you'll see some more pink. It'll show a lot of pink with the white, and it resembles a tricolor beech for about a month or so till the leaves harden off, and once the leaves harden off, you'll start seeing more purple and some more green. So the interior is a bit more green, young shoots are purple, and then you get that transition where the white really shows out. So really nice little tree. Purple flowers in the spring. It's about this. The flowers are very similar to the species, and not any larger or smaller, but nice red, nice typical red bud blooms, and then beautiful leaf color. Habit appears to be a bit more spreading. I've seen some that were almost looked like they were weeping. This has a pretty round structure yet, so I'm hoping it keeps that because I want to keep my stuff underneath. I want to keep them going, so that'll be limbed up as needed if it needs it. So yeah, great little tree, nice color. And then there's a few in the corner here. The yellow one is a golden leyland cypress called Gold Rider. I planted this for a couple of reasons. One of them is for hardiness, to see how well they do here. Some of the golden ones are a little bit less cold tolerant, but this one has done pretty well. Now, granted, it's only been here 2 years, and the winters have been pretty nice. So hasn't had a whole lot of hardship, but we also use the branches in our wreaths and some of the Christmas stuff we do. So I pruned it really hard, took it back to about 4 feet tall, and yeah, took every branch I could off of there, and it shot out real nice. So we'll do it again this Christmas and keep on harvesting from that. But yeah, if as long as I keep pruning it, it'll stay in this spot pretty well. But if left go, it would just get much too large. So I want to try and keep that prune really nice, and it should do great in there. So it goes really well with blue. This blue Veronica is a great complement to the golden leyland cypress. And I'm seeing one I forgot. I have this. Now I can't forget this one here. This is a dwarf European hornbeam, which is almost swallowed up by clematis. So this little guy is probably one of the tightest hornbeams out there. Growth rate is about maybe 5-6 inches in height per year. It will maintain a fairly narrow habit. I've seen pictures of older trees that were probably about maybe 3 feet wide and about 8 to 9 feet tall. So take 9 feet, so 18 years, something like that, till it gets up to that high. They are interesting. They're not extremely colorful, but they have just a nice tidy habit. And fall color is sort of yellow. Nothing remarkable, but the habit is just I grow this here just for the way it grows. I like the way that is shaped. It'll get taller. It'll get a bit taller before it gets any wider. And yeah, it's a great little tree. Now, speaking of narrow, here, this big tall guy here, this is a sugar maple called Monumentale. And this one has, oh shoot, it's probably not more than almost 3 feet wide at the widest point. I got one stray branch here. I might just go ahead and prune out, but if they're kept to a single trunk, they'll be just about that wide, 30 feet tall, 1.5 feet wide, 2 feet wide. Very, very cool. Full-size leaves, brilliant warm gold fall color, and just straight up. So it's hard to know how to use trees like this, but they're, because you always think of a tree as being something wide and spreading out, but in a spot where you want some kind of tall accent, or you can do, you could plant these in kind of like a waving line and have, you know, really make some neat curves with these. They don't get wide at all. So very, very cool. One thing you don't want to do is top them, because if you top them, then they branch out and they get wider at the top than they do anywhere else. So that's something you got to watch out for. And I see on the top, I'm probably going to prune off some of those side branches to keep it a little more linear and straight up. So that about does it for today. I've got 2 little conifers in here at the end, though. I've got a dwarf form of the southwestern white pine. This is Pinus flexilis. Lil Wolf. Vanderwolf is a popular larger growing variety, but Lil Wolf, I think, is a witch's broom, a mutation off of Vanderwolf. Grows like a nice little round ball, and great color, very, you know, tight. Just the growth rate's probably about 2-3 inches a year. So this little guy is over 10 years old, I think. And I realized these here do not tolerate any kind of shade, so I have it here in full sun. This gets sun from morning till about 4 in the afternoon, and it's doing great. So yeah, they can't have any competition around the sides, or they'll brown out. But if you give them straight on full sun, they're really, really happy. Also have a nice little Firefly golden oriental spruce. It's pretty well hidden in the back here, but this is a nice little dwarf. They take some time to get established. This is probably the best it's been looking in the last 2 years. They take about 3 years till they get rooted and maintain all of their needles. So before they're established, they'll be dropping a lot of foliage, and they look pretty shabby by midsummer. But once they're rooted in well, they hold really good. So this will work here for another 3 to 5 years. And then I'll have to dig it out and find a new home for it, because it'll be getting a little too tight with the pine and this little boxwood. And yeah, we'll just see what it does. But now, if my golden Leon cypress gets unmanageable, I'll probably just take that one out and move this little guy over there. So we'll see when the time comes. So yeah, that's probably it for today. We'll catch up next time with some more trees in this garden. Like I said, I counted about 23, I think, and I'm sure I've missed a few. Actually, I'm seeing a couple of them that I missed in the count. So yeah, I'm looking forward to telling you all about those. And yeah, we'll see you again next time. Hey guys, thanks for watching. To see more of our videos, don't forget to like and subscribe and click the notification bell so you can see when new videos get uploaded. And we'll see you again soon.